Good morning everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today's video is on papaya, part of the Growing Food for Yourself series. Now papaya is a great plant to grow in Houston. This papaya tree behind me is actually just about a year old now. We're in October, actually it's a little bit less than a year. And so it's pretty amazing to have a fruit tree that can go from a seed to producing fruit. There's a lot of fruit on this one in under a year. Now there are some tricks to growing papaya in Houston successfully. Timing, like everything, is key. So this plant was planted from seed back in last November on a heat pad to get it to germinate. Papaya seed can take a while to germinate if the conditions are not perfect, so expect to wait up to a month, not really ready to pop. But papaya seed is viable, and now we have them popping up all over the garden in these warmer months just from casting out seed or letting seed get mixed into some compost from the compost bin. So papaya is prolific from seed. So timing, in order to get a plant to fruit well in Houston, guaranteed fruit, you have to have that timing where you have a plant large enough to make fruit before we get our killing frosts. Now papaya is marginal, as in it might survive, it might not, through a hard freeze. So we have those low 20s freezes. Good chance that's gonna kill papaya completely unless you do something to protect the trunk. But in general, we can expect papaya to get freeze damage nearly every year. So what we're trying to do is to get the largest, strongest plant possible so that we can get a fall crop of fruit rather than year-round fruit that they could get in a more tropical environment. So that's what it's all about. Plant your seed in November if you have access to a heat pad, or if not, you just need to overwinter a plant or protect that plant. So this was a little 2-gallon pot, probably about 2 feet tall, and that was planted back in March, April. And so it did all this in 1 year. And then I have seed, let's see, this guy is a seedling, so seed that was started in March, April, and he's going to get overwintered, kind of banked near the house, and he can kind of sit and wait. And then this I pulled out of the ground to show you. This is papaya growing as a weed, where this is the papaya roots, but this was just some black pepper and some papaya seed got in. So papaya will pop up when it's warm out. Possums, wildlife, birds all love papaya when it's ripe. It's a fruit that ripens really well on the counter, and so you can take them off a little bit early. So the moment you see any of that orange blush, you can take it off and counter ripen that papaya. This will probably still even be sweeter than the grocery store fruit. So let me show you some of these other papaya out here at the property. Now this one was frozen hard last winter. We had those 20-21 degree days. You can see it was frozen down to this level, and that was only surviving because I had piled leaves probably this high around it. Now as you can see, the fruit is much smaller than they would have been if this was a single trunk tree. So you can expect your perennial papaya, your more than 1 year old papaya, to have some cold damage, and it's possible that you might want to reduce the number of branches to just 1 or maybe 2, so that you get a little bit larger fruit, unless you like these little hand-shaped ones. This tree itself is just being treated as an annual. It's really the avocado right there behind it. That's the important tree. This little guy is quite the survivor. He was frozen all the way down to basically the ground, and this is just a little side shoot that came off to the side and has since made it up. So that's why he's a bit smaller than the others that have regrown. Now the other thing to talk about with this one is he's got really small fruit. Now all of my papaya started from grocery store Mexican papaya. You want to go for Mexican because a lot of the Hawaiian papaya are GMO. The reason these are small is because even with Mexican papaya, the fruit has been irradiated. They do that to prolong its shelf life, and it does not make the seed, it doesn't necessarily destroy the seed inside the papaya, so they'll still grow into a papaya tree, but it does make that seed infertile. It basically sterilizes it. So what's happening here is this papaya is going to have seedless fruit. Seedless papaya are not that much, they're not quite as sweet, they're not quite as big, but there's nothing wrong with them. You still get fruit. Since they're grown from seed, they're not always identical. This one's got a different shape, and you can see here where it was frozen back to. Now they'll usually recover. They can rot out, so sometimes it's good, or not sometimes, it's good to leave the dead papaya up above. It helps protect the inside while it's healing. And then you can also end up sometimes with male or all female or both. So here you see a female fruit that's set. This is the female flower, and these are little male flowers. So this is not a complete flower, but this plant has both flowers. Occasionally you can get a papaya that has only male flowers or only female flowers. Most of the time though, they will have lots of little clusters of flowers, so you'll get some male and some female open at the same time. Here's one of the 2 papaya trees that were lost during Harvey. Now these were killed because of waterlogging down at the base. If you see right here, I can reach my whole hand inside. The main central trunk of roots just completely rotted out by being mostly inundated. Not underwater here, it was never fully underwater, but it was super saturated for a while, low oxygen, and the main trunk just rotted right out. Now I had left the fruit on for a while just to see if it might recover, but since it's been falling, I might take some of these off and cook them green, but probably take them off and feed them to the chickens as they ripen. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and hopefully it helps encourage you to add papaya to your garden here in Houston or elsewhere. It really is an easy fruit to grow. And if you are looking for some non-irradiated papaya seed, non-sterilized, or papaya transplants, I usually have a few to share, so you can hit me up in the comments below. Peace.